Wow, indeed. We're getting very rock and roll here. We've got Jon Stevens and the boys, Marco and Dizzy from the band The Dead Daisies. Welcome, guys.
What's happening?
Hey, kia ora, guys. Well, Dead Daisies. No, you know, somebody told me who you guys were. I said, I better have a look at these guys, see who they are. And lo and behold, I figured out you guys are just one big supergroup. Dizzy Reed, keyboardist and longest standing member of GNR with Axl Rose. Marco, who's also got touch points with Thin Lizzy, Whitesnake, a myriad of other bands. And of course, our own Jon Stevens as well. Upper Hutt boy, done good. First burst onto our TV screens in 1980 with Jezebel Montego Bay, because I can remember, because I remember those pastel green pants we were wearing live.
Age back then, man. That was like, you know, did a TV interview yesterday, and they had the picture up, and I loved looking at it. That's me. I said, that's from Montego Bay film clip. I'm like, oh my god.
I know. It's still go viral too to this very day.
Awesome, yeah. Start somewhere.
Yeah, you do. And let's talk to you, Jon, first, because I suppose being the front person, being the Kiwi on fronting the band as well, you've done a colourful history. Of course, we touched on your musical history in the 80s as well. And then also with Noiseworks, and you fronted one of the biggest bands in rock history as well, with INXS as well. Not many people can say they played with INXS. When you come back home and just playing Jon Stevens back in Upper Hutt or wherever you are here in New Zealand, does it ever feel to you like that you've actually, do you get a feeling that you've made it?
No, never. No way. You can never. I think as a songwriter, as a musician, you're always sort of looking to write that song. It's always a challenge. And it's exciting. Getting on stage every night is like, it's kind of like, it's a leap of faith.
Yeah.
It's a big leap of faith, and that's exciting. I think that's kind of like the adrenaline of that kind of keeps you going. I think, I've always felt that, when I'm like 80 years old, sitting on a stool, strumming guitar, singing, that's what I've always pictured myself. Yeah. And that's when I'll grow up. I think,
Yeah.
I saw Muddy Waters and Wee Willie Dixon play in 1981 at the Roxy in Los Angeles, actually. Yeah. And honestly, they were amazing. I just fell in love with them and just said, I want to be you guys when I grow up, and that's what I've always envisaged.
Ah. And how did you manage to rope in these two fellas here into the group? Can you just tell us the story behind that?
The Dead Daisies started with me and rhythm guitarist David Lowy writing songs, and we wrote a bunch of songs when it came to putting a band together. We called a friend of mine, Charlie Drayton, drummer, used to play with the Divinals and Expensive Winos and whatnot. And he called Richard Fortis, who was in town with GNR. Dizzy and I had met 12 years prior on INXS. He came to see us play with INXS and we hooked up there. So there was history within the the Musos network, and the band was put together, and I suppose we can hand it over to you, Dizzy.
Yes, Richard started telling me that he was doing this gig, and he told me Marco was doing it, and Jon, and Charlie Drayton, and I said, where do I sign up?
Really? Is it that simple as that?
But yeah, definitely. I mean, it's, I jammed with Marco once or twice, somewhere down the road, and we always had a blast, and Jon, I watched Jon walk on people's dinner plates at that was amazing. They went at the Canyon Club.
Is it? Okay,
for some reason, in Excess playing, they didn't move the tables. They usually clear the floor, and then it goes from a dinner theater into you're watching a show, but they're still sitting there their dinner, and he just started walking on everyone's on the tables. I'm like, that guy's awesome. I want to play with that guy.
Now, your first single was Lock and Load, which was co-written by Slash as well from GNR, and also I think you played guitar on there as well. How hard was it to get him to play on the track and co-write the song?
Slash and I had known each other for many years, and we had written a bunch of songs together, and Lock and Load was one of them. It's one of those songs where I've had it for a few years, and I just never found a home for it. I have a ton of songs that are don't particularly fit a certain thing, So when we did the record, it was just a case of, listen, guys, I got the song Slash and I wrote ages ago, and what do you think? So we played it and recorded it, and I called Slash and basically said, I'm doing the Dead Daisies, it's a new thing, and want to do Lock and Load. If you don't, like the music, then I won't do it, but if you dig it, I'll do it. So
great.
And he, as he said to me, he said, man, I can't hear anybody else playing those riffs. That's my riffs. I said, well, you better bloody play on it then. Yeah. So, you know, he's awesome, you know. It was great that he, you know, gave his time to do that. So it was really cool.
That's a very good, cool track. And your voice is sounding just as good as it was back in you know, 35 years ago. It's amazing. You guys got a really great sound there, sort of blues, hard rock sound. I was just asking, another thing you notice with bands is the condition that they're in as well, physically as well as mentally. We just had the Rolling Stones here before. They're still going for it. Like, you know.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, no, amazing, eh?
Incredible.
Yeah. I was just wondering, you know, with you as well, you guys have to keep in peak performance. I know, John, a couple of years ago, you had a couple of stents put in.
A double heart bypass surgery.
Double heart bypass.
Yeah, 5 years ago, yeah.
Does it, do you view sort of life now more, are you more wary or a bit precious?
The Dead Daisies, we're all Dead Daisies. I mean, that's really where the name derived from. My you know, near-death experience. And I guess that was the name that sort of resonated most with me and just seemed to fit, so... But yeah, I mean, of course, anything like that changes your perspective. You know, you become a lot more appreciative of life and people in it, and you know, you just realise you're here for a short time, not a long time. So cram as much as you can in without hurting anybody.
Marco, can I just ask you, please?
Yes,
so you're playing bass, a guitarist, and you've had a few career highlights along the way with a lot of different famous bands. With the Dead Daisies, you guys are here on tour. First time in New Zealand for you?
No, this will be like number 3, I think, if memory serves me right.
So you played in other bands before?
Yeah, I think I came here with Lynch Mob, George.
Oh, okay.
And then we were here a few years ago, the first time with John and the boys. Opening up for Aerosmith. So this is number 3. I think.
Great. Can you give us a bit of a highlight on so far for the tour for you in Hamilton or in Auckland so far?
It's obviously, I mean, it's a music based, you know, fan base. I mean, they really dig rock and roll and music, and last night was evident. I mean, we did a few covers, but it's all new music, and a lot of the folks are singing along with the lyrics, so there's nothing more rewarding than to get up on stage and watch a few folks, you know. They were going bananas, man. I mean, they were, when we first got out there, I think we were all talking about it backstage after the show. It was like a little tentative, something about a venue when you have seating, you know, people are sitting down, and it's like the energy's a little subdued, you know, but they were jumping, man, and we got a standing ovation, absolutely. Yeah. So we got off the stage going, yes. So great fans, you know, and obviously you guys love music here, and you appreciate it, which is cool, you know. Very
you got another 2 dates to go, Dunedin, Christchurch tomorrow night in Dunedin as well, which is going to be crazy, and then you're supporting Jimmy Barnes on his 30-30 tour. Yeah. What's the future for Dead Daisies now? And that'll be the manager. That'll be cool.
That's the future right there.
From LA.
I don't know if they should make up the bed. The future is wide open, man. I think as long as rock and roll will have us, and as long as we can keep doing this, I just, you know, we say this all the time, man. We've been really blessed and really lucky to be able to do this for a living for so long, and I just want to keep doing it as long as I can. We all do. Yeah, and it doesn't suck doing it with these guys. So hopefully we can make more records, make more songs, and play more shows. And if all the crowds are as good as the one we had last night, and then one that we had in Hamilton, then I got no issues doing this for a long time, man.
Definitely. And John, you're not going to be taken off to sing for Thin Lizzy or any other bands in the future. Dead Daisies is pretty much where you are at the moment.
Yeah, you know, I've always sort of done my own thing, and you know, I've been working. NXS was, you know, something where I was sort of bound by other people's music, I suppose. We did try to write some stuff together, but it just didn't kind of work out. The energy wasn't there for that, you know. And so, you know, for me, I spent 3.5 years with them, and, you know, I kind of got tired of it and just went, I got so many songs and ideas and things I want to do. So, you know, the Dead Daisies, you know, having this vehicle and these guys are awesome to work with, and everyone's open and creative and willing to do stuff, you know, and that's really exciting, you know, because, you know, I love working in a band environment. I love working with other people. The sum of the parts is always greater than the individual, you know, and you know, the Dead Daisies has an incredible chemistry that I certainly, you know, would like to keep
Yeah,
going
definitely.
for sure. And we all feel the same way about that, you know. And I guess the EP, Face Our Love, is the first sort of collective, creative spark of, you know, the Dead Daisies. It's rocking.
And long may it rain as well, you guys. Great to meet you, Jon Stevens and the Dead Daisies. We've got Dizzy Reed and we've got Marco Mendoza as well. And we are here for Music Nation. Okay, guys, that's it. Let's take us out. We'll catch you guys later. Thanks a lot.